The first group of people who need to pay attention to that date are people who have student loans that are not direct loans. And that's really important because direct loans are the only loans that are eligible for many of the income driven repayment plans, but they're also the only loans that are eligible for public service loan forgiveness as well. Now, the good news is if you're under the age of 35, you probably already have direct loans only, but let's talk about the people who are in a different circumstance. If you have, for example, an FFEL loan or a Perkins loan that you want to be eligible for income driven repayment plan forgiveness or public service loan forgiveness, you need to have consolidated those loans by July 1st of 2026. And the reason is after that point in time, if you either consolidate your loans or apply for a new federal student loan, the only two options that you'll have for repayment are a standard repayment plan that based on the amount that you owe will be a repayment period of anywhere from 10 to 25 years, or the repayment assistance plan. Repayment assistance after July 1st, 2026 for new borrowers, which a consolidated loan would constitute a new borrower. You only have access to that plan in terms of income driven repayment. That's it. Now, it's also important to understand that if you already have direct loans, you actually want to be very cautious in consolidating a student loan. We've talked about this in past episodes. During the Biden administration, they made a change where if you consolidated two or more loans that had previous credit towards income driven repayment or public service loan forgiveness, they would give that newly consolidated loan credit based on the weighted average of the loans in the pot. There's no need to talk about, like how that works because it's another episode for another day. The problem is that prior to the Biden administration, we don't know if they're using those rules, but we think that they are using those pre-Biden era rules. If you consolidated student loans, it didn't matter how much credit you had towards forgiveness. That new loan was granted 0 credits. You had to start from scratch. And we've seen some people prior to those changes where they consolidated a loan that had 7, 8 years worth of credit towards public service loan forgiveness, unaware of the fact that once it was completed, they were starting from scratch. So if you don't have to consolidate your loans, you don't want to do it because we don't know what the circumstances will be in terms of that granted credit. The only scenario where you may potentially want to go ahead and pull the trigger is if you have that old FFEL or Stafford or Perkins loan that you're wanting to be considered. That's the first group that needs to pay attention by July 1st of 2026.